Sanders case. We're going to talk about 4 cases. I have done a video about Shilo Sanders, and you know what, guys? I woke up today, and Coach Prime had liked my content. Coach Prime had liked my content today. And so that's how crazy life is, that you put some content out there, you don't know who's going to look at it. And Coach Prime had liked a video that I had did. If you guys remember, I did a video regarding Coach Prime getting 5 death threats a week. And a lot of people were like, oh, that's not happening. He's not getting 5 death threats a week or whatever. And he most certainly is. Classic hey hairstyle vlogs. Hey girl, long time no hear from. Quiet one. Hey, what's happening? How are you doing? How are you doing? I have figured out I was just going to come on. I am simulcasting on Facebook and also on here, and I'm just giving the latest update and everything on what's going on. Thank you so much, Classic Hairstyle and Vlogs. Girl, I got a silk press to my hair, and the only thing I put in my hair, I know y'all probably over Facebook, y'all probably don't care about this. That's all I put in my hair. People be putting 50 million products in their hair. I don't do that. I don't do the 50 million products in their hair. So, oh my goodness. So Classic Hairstyle, she's one of my viewers from Facebook. She's saying that she was on holiday. But yeah, so guys, what we're going to be doing now, we're going to be coming on, I think we're going to be coming on at 8 o'clock. And I'm going to be talking about some of the latest news that we have going on, or what have you, since I do so many of my short reels talking about like stuff like that. Okay. And so, so Shilo Sanders, 11 million. I don't know if anybody wanted to talk about that, but people were surprised that how could a 15-year-old have a judgment for $11 million. And basically what happened was Coach Prime and the mom were also a part of the lawsuit. But what happened was, after a certain amount of time, the parents were dropped from the lawsuit. Okay. After the parents were dropped from the lawsuit, and then he was, I don't know if he was in college, wherever he was, he ended up not showing up to a court case. His lawyers didn't show up to the court case, and he gets this summary judgment for $11 million. Now, I have had people, I have had people, on my comments are saying, well, the security guard who is at the center of this case is really in pain, and they have pins in their neck and all this other kind of stuff. I understand that. So I don't want to, make light of their pain at all. But $11 million to have a 15-year-old enter his life with a debt of $11 million, that seems like a lot. You know what I mean? I don't know if we're going to say that's a money grab or not. I don't know, you know what I mean? But a 15-year-old being liable for $11 million seems like a whole lot of money. And I'll go as far as to say, if his last name wasn't Sanders, I do not know if he would be on the hook for that kind of money, $11 million. I mean, it feels like it's all a money grab to me. Now again, I don't want to, deny this other person's pain. So excuse me, but I'm saying, if his name wasn't Sanders, if his name was Johnson, are we trying to get 11 million from the person whose last name is Johnson and doesn't have no family members? I don't think so. But you guys, welcome everybody. Welcome in. I just want to say thank you. We are up to, I want to say 4,300 followers on YouTube for the Yasmin Breakdown. And we are at 18,000 followers on Facebook. So thank you for that. The next thing that I want to talk to you guys, I laughed so hard. KJ Noy, how you doing? I laughed so hard. Jarrell Miller, you guys, and when I start doing guests, and I hope to be doing guests very soon, y'all hear me say it. If y'all know Jarrell Miller, the guy who just won, who was just boxing, if y'all know him, Tell him. Yes, 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 classic hairstyles. I know you from YouTube. Did I say Instagram? Um, if y'all know Jarrell Miller, tell him the Yasmin Shiraz and the Yasmin Breakdown, we are looking for him, okay? We are looking for him. Because let me tell y'all something. Jarrell Miller is the guy who was in this boxing match and he had a glued down what they call man unit. Okay, man unit. I'm sorry, classic hairstyle vlogs. Man unit. You know I'm looking over YouTube right here, but Facebook is right here, so that's why I was a little confused. So he goes into this boxing match, right? And he has a man unit. And you guys, a man unit, if you don't know, is the equivalent of a man's hair weave. Okay, that's a man's hair weave. Okay, and so he has Lord, I love this guy. Y'all, he got to be one of my guests. We're going to have him on as a guest. I'm going to use this. So if y'all know him, tell him, yeah, the Shiraz looking for him. But we're going to go and we're going to we're going to get this guy. We're going to get him on the show. But anyway, so he goes and he's doing this boxing, right? By the second round, y'all, not the third, not the fourth, not the fifth, y'all, the second round, right? He's, he's taking his little body shots, whatever, whatever. I don't know, getting hit in the head or whatever. His man unit lifts off of his head, y'all. It lifts off, right? And so if y'all can imagine, right, like if it was just the round part here of my head, it just lifts off and all this stuff it's bald, right? And so as he's, taking the hits and he's punching and this and that, y'all, he the back of his hair is just holding on for dear life. You know what I mean? Like the back piece of his hair is just holding on. Let me tell you what dude did. He takes the hairpiece off the man unit, y'all, and he throws it into the crowd. Y'all, let me tell y'all. Y'all know I did a video on it because I thought the man's sportsmanship. It was hold yes, Trey Man 93818. It was holding on by a thread. It was holding on by a strip of glue. But what I thought about him was the sportsmanship of it. You know what I'm saying? Like a weaker person would have, like, you know what I mean? Maybe would have folded. Maybe would have said, listen, I ain't fighting no more. Maybe would have been embarrassed. This guy has taken this incident and he's like, you know what? I'm just going to laugh at myself. And for me, that was so precious to me in terms of seeing somebody go through it in that way. And so I thought that was a blessing. That was crazy. And then the thing of it is that he went on and he won the match. He won. He ended up winning by split decision, but he won. Y'all know, everybody knows me. Y'all know I'm a sports fan. So he won the match. And so I don't know. I mean, the dedication and the sportsmanship, we got to get him on the Yasmin Breakdown. We're going to get him on and have him talk to us about focus and about being able to stay focused. So if any of y'all know Jarrell Miller, the fighter who was up there fighting with his man unit and getting his wig knocked off, let him know your girl Yasmin Shiraz is looking for you. And if you have not heard this, you guys, Coach Prime was on the Yasmin Breakdown page today on Instagram, and he liked one of my posts that I was talking about the death threats that he gets or what have you. And in that post, I wasn't even going to talk about it tonight, but Coach Prime had actually liked the post, so I wanted to talk to you about it. Maybe, I don't know, I do so many posts, but maybe a week ago, maybe 5 days ago, I did a post because I had seen, I think it was on Prime Video, that Coach Prime was showing, like, the people at Colorado were saying he gets 5 death threats a day. A week. I think it's a week. 5 death threats a week, I think it is. And so A lot of people were commenting, oh, he doesn't get death threats. Oh, that doesn't happen or whatever. And he actually came on and he liked the post today. And what I was saying was that in that particular video, I was talking about how people will see somebody doing something and they will be jealous. So you'll have people who never played sports, but they're jealous of Coach Prime. You have people who never played football and they'll be jealous of Coach Prime, or have played football but not at the level that Coach Prime has. They mad at him because he played football. They mad because he played baseball. They mad because he played them at the same time. And so there's this sense of entitlement and this jealousy that people will have because somebody else is winning in life. Instead of them putting their energy so that they can figure out how they can win in life, you hear me, right? They are mad at somebody else for winning, right? And so when I woke up this morning, I was surprised because Coach Prime had liked the post, and all I was saying was I was just explaining, like, this is where that stalker energy comes from. This is where, those people come into your life and then they're like, kind of like they act weird. This is where that energy comes from, right? Where they're looking at your life and they're secretly resentful of you living your life. Now, instead of them again taking that energy and saying, well, what is what should I be doing for myself? They ain't doing that. They just mad at you. Okay. And so, you guys, I'm just going to recap. We're at the Yasmin Breakdown Live. You guys, if you have been on my page, I do my breakdowns every day. I do multiple, basically, breakdowns a day. But I want to now come on live in the evening and expound a little bit more on the stories, okay, of what's going on in some of the stories or what have you. Hey everybody, how are you doing? And so one of the other breakdown stories that I did this week after the Grammys was Mad Skillz. A lot of you guys may not even know Mad Skillz, but I did a video where I was talking about the rapper Mad Skillz who won a Grammy. And he is someone who is near and dear to my heart because when I started my first magazine, my first business, which was a hip hop magazine called Mad Rhythms, I was in the vicinity of Virginia where he was, and we got to, meet each other and things like that. And he was always Mad Skillz and I was always Mad Rhythms. And it was just sort of this camaraderie that we always had and this kindness. And in that video, I just talked about how, like, for young people who want to get into the entertainment business and things like that, you have to believe in yourself, one, but also when you meet people who are kind to you, reciprocate that kindness, right? When you meet people who are good to you, reciprocate that kind of energy. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have people in my in my career that I have brought along with me from my career path that I have had with me the whole time. The whole time. Quiet one, are you still okay? That I've had the whole time. And so these people might be publicists, they might be, marketing executives or what have you, but there are people who I became friends with. They could be artists. There are people who I have supported and who have supported me throughout my career. And a lot of times it feels like in life now, everybody is so transactional, right? And what I mean by that is that when I say people are so transactional, it's like, if you can't get something from somebody immediately, you're not interested. If you can't get something from somebody immediately, you're not interested. And that is the wrong way to move through life because you don't know when you're going to need somebody. You don't know when someone can help you or when you can help someone. And so when you have that idea that, like, okay, well, they can't give me something right now, so I'm not going to have anything to do with them, right? that creates an issue where, you know, you're burning bridges that you might have to cross back over. Like, people act like when someone is burning a bridge that it has to be with anger, but you can burn a bridge with a lack of appreciation, right? Just yesterday, a colleague of mine, I was writing podcasts and producing podcasts for Amazon and Wondery, and I stopped in October. One of my friends from Amazon never worked in my department, but I always, you know, was supportive of him, and he would talk with me or whatever. He called me from Thailand yesterday. He's in Thailand, right? He's on a trip, right? That's how you build relationships with people, right? Just because you're no longer in the same space, still have those real friendships with people, still have that realness, that integrity, still have that for people. Okay. And so that was why I did the video on Mad Skillz. Has there been any current news happening with you guys that you want to talk about tonight? Please weigh in, weigh in. The other one, you guys, that I did, and quiet one, if you have any questions or points that you want to bring up, make sure you bring them up. Cam Newton. Y'all, Cam Newton, the former, he was with Carolina Panthers. He was a quarterback. I feel like his career ended prematurely in my mind. I feel like he was in New England for, I don't know, it feels like he was in New England for a couple of games. But he recently said he cannot be platonic with a fine woman. And when I heard that clip of Cam Newton talking about that, it just made me laugh so much, y'all. It tickled me, because one, he said it wrong. It's platonic. It's not platonic. So he does his own he does his own remixes to the language. But he says it with his full chest, and I can really appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? And he was basically saying in his clip that he doesn't have any relationships, platonic relationships with women, particularly attractive women, because he doesn't want to pretend that, you know, he's not interested in them. And, you know, of course, people come into the comments and they're like, hey, men and women can get along. Men and women can have platonic relationships. You know, what is Cam talking about, or what have you? But you know what? I respect a man who says, or a woman, if she was to say the same thing, I respect a person who says, you know what? I can't be friends with people who I find attractive, because they're not going to play in your face. They're not going to string along and try to be friends with you for 3 months or 6 months or whatever. And then soon as your relationship implodes, soon as your relationship breaks up, they're going to be creeping by the back door, right? So for me, I can appreciate a person who's willing to be honest. And I think, you know, and so, like, to me, for Cam Newton to say what he said, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. A lot of people can't appreciate it, but I can appreciate it now. One of my friends was talking to me about the video, and he was saying that, well, he's just so hyper, you know, he's so hypersexualized, or he's so whatever, whatever. I mean, I don't know about that, you know, like, I don't know the man at all. But I feel like if you know that you have a weakness, and, you know, you know, like, okay, this is a struggle for me, then why not admit what that struggle is? Why not admit that, like, okay, I have this struggle and I'm dealing with whatever, you know what I'm saying? And so a lot of people, so I want to add, so the people who are in the building, the people who are listening, what do you think? Do you think men and women can be platonic friends? I have plenty of guy friends who are my platonic friends, or what have you, people who I talk to, you know, once a week, people who I might talk to once every other week. As you guys know, I'm a widow. And so when my husband passed away, and, you know, my friends who, you know, knew what kind of person that my husband was, they like sort of said, well, hey, we're gonna look out for you. You know what I mean? Like a sister energy. And so I do have friends, male friends in that way. And even as far as like my husband's friends who, you know, looked at him like a brother, they will check on me once a month. Hey, how are you doing? Hey, you know, that type of thing. So I don't believe that, you know, I don't agree with Cam that men and women cannot necessarily be platonic friends, but I do understand that if you are someone who cannot and does not want to be that person, I'm not mad at you. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of times, I'm gonna say women will like entertain a relationship, a friendship with a guy, and this guy's intention is really not to be your friend. You know what I mean? And so when Cam Newton says, "Hey, um, you know, we're okay. We're you know, I'm not going to do that." That says to me he's taking responsibility and he's not going to play in your face. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to play in your face. And I feel like, you know, so many of us would rather have someone lie to us. I mean, I'm just going to call it out. Listen, this is the Yasmin Breakdown Live. So, you know, we're going to break it down. I feel like a lot of us would rather someone lie to us than to get the truth, because the truth, we don't really want to process it. You know what I'm saying? People don't really want to process it. You know what I mean? And I'm saying, no, let's process the fact that this guy really just wants to hit, and let's keep it moving. Let's do that. It's the Yasmin Breakdown Live, y'all. I'm Yasmin Shiraz. We are talking about Cam Newton. Can men and women actually be friends? Please weigh in respectfully in the conversation. The quiet one says, I can be attracted to someone without acting on it. It's about respect and emotional maturity. Absolutely. And not only that, I think with relationships, and I'm heterosexual, but in relationships between men and women, I feel like you can you can, I have a client that I work with, and I like this guy so much. But what I like about him is his creativity. I like, you know what I'm saying? I like the way he puts words together. I like the way that he does you know, his artwork or whatever. But I don't look at him as you know, more on a personal level. So it's like business wise, I really like this person, right? And a lot of times we don't distinguish between, you know, we don't distinguish between all the different types of like. Like, just because you like someone to work with doesn't mean you want to be their spouse. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's different kinds of likes. You know what I mean? And we look at stuff in so black and white, where we're just trying to put, okay, let me try to fit you in this box, and let me try to fit you in this box, and let me try to fit you in this box. But life, there are a lot of boxes in life. There are a lot of boxes in life, right? And so when you have so many boxes in life, you know what I'm saying, you can have somebody who is your movie buddy. Like, I have one of my friends, this guy goes to movies, I want to say he goes to movies every weekend, right? Like, he's your person. If you're going to be friends with him and you want to be like, yo, let's critique this movie together, he's going to be your person, right? He's going to be your person because he's the movie guy. But people want to take somebody who maybe can only give you one aspect, and we want to say your dream person is 8 aspects. We want to take somebody who's only capable of one thing, and we want to make those other 7 things a part of what they do and who they are. And what I'm saying is, no, take whatever that little bit that they can give you, and then, hey, find somebody else who's like, oh, well, maybe this is the person for my emotional needs. This is the person for my mental stimulation. This is the person, this is my travel buddy. Like, we need to get into a different mindset of trying to make one person fulfill our every need, because I don't believe that one person all the time can do that. You know what I mean? And I think if we were more honest about that, I think that we would be in a better position overall. But I think the reality is we do not want the truth. You know what I'm saying? When Cam says, "Hey, I am not being friends with no fine woman," people don't want to hear that. But I'm like, thank you, because he's saying right now, I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want to waste my time. So the question really becomes, why are we so willing to have our time wasted? That's really the question. Why are we so willing to have our time wasted? Right? And so today, this is our Yasmin Shiraz. This is our Yasmin Breakdown Live. My name is Yasmin Shiraz. For everybody who has been watching my breakdowns, thank you so much. Who has been checking for the breakdowns. We are up to 18,000 followers now on Facebook. So thank you so much for that. But I'm going to be coming on throughout the week and expounding upon different stories, different news stories, something that maybe I've talked about in the breakdown. And then I'm going to come on here and I'm going to talk about and ask and really take your questions and your questions and your comments, because we've had, let me see if I can get some comments up right now. We've had some really phenomenal comments on the Yasmin Breakdown here recently. If to bring up the Shiloh's thing again, you know, a lot of people couldn't understand how somebody with 15 who was 15 years old could be liable for $11 million. Like, that was a lot of what that comment was. Yes, yes, yes. Please take a moment. I am taking your questions right now. And guys, I did last week, or the last couple of weeks, maybe it's been 3 weeks, but I'm gonna do another one. I have been covering IShowSpeed's trip through Africa. I don't know if you guys have been seeing my videos on IShowSpeed being in Africa, but I have been covering that, and I have met me some brethren and sistren in Africa. He went to Ghana, you guys, and when he went to Ghana, he showed the Ghana Museum. And the Ghana Museum was created by this former beauty queen in Ghana. And the shea, it was the Shea Butter Museum. They make shea butter, obviously, there. It was just, oh my God. I felt like I could go through the screen and partake of the shea butter. Because everybody up in that joint was glistening. Their skin was shining, y'all. And y'all know I like y'all. I'm still using my Korean skin pads. I fell on my roller skate, so I bumped my head. But I try to take care of my skin as much as possible. And they was glistening up in that Shea Butter Museum, y'all. And that's in Ghana. And so since then, I have some people from Ghana have reached out to me. I have people from Ghana who do touring. So if y'all want to join the Yasmin Breakdown in Ghana, you know, hit me up on the DMs. Hit me up on the DMs. Another story that I've covered recently, guys, was Shilo Sander going to the Pro Bowl. And y'all know, nobody is quite despised like the Sanders family, because, baby, the people came out and they had a lot of conversation to say about Shilo Sander making it to the Pro Bowl. He had only played 7 games. He only had so many yards and this and that. And it's interesting. And I said in that video, when God is for you, who can be against you? Because I'm going to tell you guys something. You know, people are very big on trying to sabotage another person's success. People are very, you know what I'm saying? The energy that they should have to promote themselves, to help themselves out, right? The energy that they should have for that, they do not have, right? but they got a whole lot of energy for hating, right? And so here comes this guy. He's in the 5th round. You know, he gets on a team that doesn't play him, doesn't name him QB1 to the end of the season. And through some miracle, you guys, he still makes it to the Pro Bowl. For those of you all who aren't spiritual, and for those of you all who don't believe in God, that's the type of proof you need, right? Because he didn't play. He wasn't drafted high, okay? The people on the team, the coach or whatever who's now in Atlanta, did not support the boy, did not support him. And some kind of way, in his first year in the NFL, he's made it to the Pro Bowl, right? And so people now want to say, oh, well, the Pro Bowl is cooked and this and this and that. But when you had other people in it, it wasn't cooked. So to that I say, and y'all know that's my thing, and to that I say, you can't let these people, I want to charge my phone, that's why I'm looking down. You can't let these people make you feel insignificant, you know what I'm saying, about what you're doing. And that's the thing, you know, when it's football season, the Yasmin Breakdown always does Shilo Sander's commentary. We do videos, and we're going to continue to cover him because he is excellent in responding to the press and really keeping it a buck and keeping it way up here. You know, a lot of people give LeBron James a hard time, and y'all know I'm a fan. I love LeBron James. And the thing that people didn't understand about LeBron James is that when LeBron James entered the NBA, I mean, as an 18-year-old, he spoke to the reporters like he was 40. He spoke to them like he had been through media training, like he understood. Like, LeBron has always been this big thinker, big concept. He has always been that. And now that he's at the end or nearing the end of his career, you know, you have all these people taking all these pot shots at him and all this type of stuff. In my opinion, is sad to see. But rewind the tape. Go back to when he was coming out of school, coming out of high school, and see how he was talking to reporters in his rookie year. He was giving them people a master class every time he opened his mouth. That's what Shilo Sanders did with Deion Sanders as a father and with a college degree behind him. LeBron James did that with none of those things. So that's why they can hate on LeBron all they want. You'll never get me to hate on him. All right, y'all. We are at the Yasmin Breakdown Live. This is our first episode of the Yasmin Breakdown Live. I am going to be coming on. I think me and my client got to fight it out. I have a client that I work with, and we do story meetings and so forth. But me and him going to be fighting a little bit. But I'm going to be coming on, I think, at 8 o'clock is what I'm going to try to commit to you guys to come on at 8 o'clock. And what we're doing is we are recapping current stories of the day. And I have some stories that I've got to do breakdowns on. I have to do a breakdown. There's like United Health. There's a United Health story I want to share with you all. United Health, I believe, what my preliminary research is saying that they were paying, allegedly, you guys, allegedly, they were paying, I want to say, nursing homes to allow patients to die, allegedly, because the cost to transport the patients to a hospital was too high. Yeah. I came across that story, so I'm going to do a breakdown. I'm going to do a breakdown on that today. God willing, the creek don't rise and I don't fall asleep the moment I get off of this thing with you guys. So I found that story for you. So you know, it's just, when I tell you, like, can you guys imagine, right? your, loved one is in a nursing home, they're in a facility that you're paying money, because guess what, baby, nothing is free in America, right? So it ain't like they doing you a favor, you're paying arm and a leg for where your loved one is, right? Like, let's be clear about that. The insurance is paying, somebody's paying, some money is being exchanged. And now we find out, because maybe the transfer fee is $1,500. Like, I don't even know what it is. Now we hear that it is being alleged that United Health was saying, hey, don't don't take them to the hospital. No, don't do that. Go ahead, let them go ahead and expire there, and we're gonna kick you something on the back end, allegedly. You guys, this is the type of conversation we're going to be having on the Yasmin Breakdown, because what the is going on with that? You know what I mean? And it's the value that we put on people's lives. It just seems like sometimes in America, we simply do not care. We simply do not care. So that was one of the stories that I wanted to bring, that I'm going to try to bring to you tonight. And Damon Wilson, I know I have listeners of all ages and background, but that was from the Sanford and Son show, and that was way back in the day. I want to say that was the early 80s, or something like that. You guys know I'm a TV film buff. So that was from, I want to say, the early 80s, with Fred Sanford was the father, who was played by Red Fox, and Damon Wilson was his son, who was affectionately known as Big Dummy. And so he passed away. I believe they said he had prostate cancer. I want to say, I think that came with it. I did not do a breakdown on him. I probably should and probably will. But he passed away as well. It just seems like sometimes, you guys, I love honoring people so they're not forgotten, because the word is, if people continue to say your name, you're never really forgotten, right? And so, when you see me do a tribute to somebody, it is really because I don't want them to be forgotten, right? But at the same breath of that is this idea that every time I turn around, we're experiencing loss. And it's very hard for me emotionally. Like, I like laughing. I like, joking. I like Jarrell Miller and his little toupee, right? So I like these funny stories. And it seems like every time I turn around, I am talking about someone's passing. And that's gotten a little bit hard for me, sometimes. So, like, sometimes I just am not going to talk about it. Not because I don't want to, but it's just kind of hard sometimes. So, but if y'all want me to be like, Yasmin, do a breakdown on so and so, y'all just send me. Listen, I'm on Facebook, I'm on, everywhere, YouTube or what have you, Instagram. Let me know. I have pulled back on TikTok because of the privacy rights are just really, really strange. I'm not a fan of the privacy rights that they're doing. And you guys, I reran a Yasmin breakdown, I want to say yesterday, about the Atlanta airport, because people flying in and out of Atlanta, it's very important for you guys to know that Atlanta be getting like all of these, like, oh, the lines are gonna be, out into 85, or they're gonna be out into the parkway or whatever. And then when I go to the airport, it's not that. You know what I mean? So please be mindful of your news source, of wherever, like, check, double check, and then go onto your socials and see if people are talking about um, the same things, that this news is talking about. Because I am telling you, I was seeing news say the Atlanta airport is this, and this. And I went in there. I mean, it was the fastest time I had ever been in the airport. Okay? It was the fastest time. So I wanted to just, whoops, I wanted to include that with you as well. All right. I had to hit the wrong one. You guys, I got all sorts of stuff going on tonight. So if you guys have any questions, quiet one, do you have anything else? Did I forget anything today? I am officially uploading my long videos over to Facebook as well. In case people are like, hey, I'm going to watch you over on Facebook. So I am uploading those, and I have a long form video that talks about your all's reaction to Venus Williams' marriage. I did a video called Venus Williams' Marriage Forced an Honest Dating Conversation. And I did a video on that, and people exploded. You know, everybody had a comment. Everybody had something to say about Venus getting married. And I want to say something about that. You know, I'm going to make that our last note for the night. A lot of men, particularly black men, came in and said, she's married somebody who's not black. And for all the work that her father did with her and Serena, they're married to people who aren't black. And this was a common theme. Thank you, Che. This was a common theme that the videos received, talking about Venus and directly also Serena, right? Marriage. That, they had such a strong black father who did all this stuff for them, but they still married people who weren't black. So basically, fail, right? But this is the thing that I'm going to say, and I'm going to say this about my dad as well. Your father doesn't teach you the skin color of the person for you to marry. He, or the age of the person or whatever. He teaches you that you deserve to be loved by the person that you marry. You see what I'm saying? See, people get that confused, and they think that you're having this a great father figure is making you you got to marry somebody who looks like me, skin tone wise or whatever. But no, when your father loves you, you learn that the man in your life is supposed to love you, right? And so I have a close relationship with my dad, have always had a close relationship with my dad. And so I married a man who loved me like a crazy person, right? And when I date now that my husband's passed away, I won't accept anything less than, like, this person has to love me like a crazy person. Otherwise, what am I doing? Right? So that's what people miss. And I know there are a lot of folks who don't have that type of relationship and aren't close with their fathers. And so when I look at Venus' marriage and I look at Serena's marriage, I don't look at the fact that both of their husbands are not black. I look at how, like, Serena's husband, he gonna stand up for Serena. Like, he gonna be like, last week you said, well, I just got back around to you. Like, he ain't letting time pass. He ain't letting social media pass. You feel me? I love that about Alexis. I love that about him. And so to me, that's her dad coming through. That's Richard Williams, because Richard Williams was on the sideline saying, no, sir, you will not treat my daughters like this. Tell them to the press, you will not disrespect my daughters. Wait a minute. And you telling me the way Alexis Ohanian stands in for Serena Williams? Excuse me? If that's not Richard Williams, I don't know what. Oh my goodness, you guys. I have Michael. Hello there. He says, men, I got a comment over on Facebook. Thank you so much. It's my first comment of the day from Facebook. Men are to love their women, and the women are to make friends with the man. Okay, all right now. So I appreciate that comment. Thank you so much. But like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, we're supposed to have this love, and it's not necessarily, I don't see it about skin color. I feel like my husband was a black man, but had I brought somebody else home and that person treated me well, I'm telling you, my parents, my mom or my dad would have been like, okay, because you feel what I'm saying? But people make it about the skin color, but like, why be with somebody who's not gonna love you and who's not gonna treat you right? And um I think sometimes in the dating relationships, we put up with men and women, okay? We put up with too much bull crap from people, and all they're doing is wasting your time. You feel me? All people are doing are wasting your time. And my whole thing is, if you don't want to be with me, leave me alone. Leave me alone. If you're not going to, you know what I'm saying? And that's the truth. We talked about a little bit earlier. We don't want the truth. A lot of times we want people to tell us what we want to hear, even if that's a lie. You guys know how much I love Kai Sinat and I love this little girlfriend Gigi together. I love them or what have you. And I watched that whole fiasco, sort of how they ended their relationship. And it was crazy. It was crazy. You know what I mean? It was absolutely nuts. Because at the end of the day, we need to honor the people. And if we don't want to be with them, honor each other. And if you don't want to be with them, just be like, I've grown. I'm, just not into you, or whatever they used to say, whatever they need to say. That's what you need to say. There's no need to pretend that you want to be in a relationship if you don't want to be in a relationship. And I think that, my client, there's a show that I do that I produce called Curious and Inspired. And he just did a reel about pledging allegiance to the bag. And he's talking about integrity. And he's talking about people having integrity. And one of the reasons why I work with him, I do not take on everybody who might want to work with me, but it's because of integrity, right? We have to have integrity in our relationships. We have to have it in our relationship. Yeah, okay. Now my comment over here, I got Michael A. Pray. I love it, Michael. Thank you so much for coming up in here with some comments today. I have another comment. Michael A. Pray says, skin color has nothing to do with heart color. The heart that loves is the most important thing. Snap, snap, clap, clap. Thank you for that. I need quiet one. I need one of them things that I can push the button. I don't have one of those. I'm not all that tech savvy. It might seem like it, but I'm not. Like, I'm simulcasting because I got a bunch of phones and an iPad and a computer, but not because I put it through the one software. But absolutely, you guys, the heart that loves is the most important thing. And the point of that too, like I'm saying, is that be honest. Be honest with people. You know what I'm saying? Like, be honest with, like, if like, I feel people, like, say you're a man or you're a woman and you want to get married. I don't believe in long engagements if you want to be married. I was married for 23, almost 24 years, right? I was 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks from 24 years when my husband passed away. I don't believe in long engagements. I don't believe an engagement should be longer than 3 years, right? Because what are you waiting for? Like, what are you doing? Now, I also don't believe everybody should get married, right? I don't believe everybody should get married. Like, marriage is not the end all be all for everybody. Like, I don't believe that. But we spend far too much time wasting each other's time. And one of the things that I want to say for people out here who are listening in relationships is that don't be afraid to ask for what you want. Don't be afraid to, if somebody is not, living up to your expectations or whatever, or, it doesn't fit. Don't be afraid to be like, you know what? I'm not going to do that, because, like, emotional abuse is real, right? Like, and that type of stress, I have another story that I'm going to share with you guys. The stress that comes from being emotionally abused, having stress, it creates inflammation in your body. It takes years, literal years off your life. So you're not winning by being in a relationship that doesn't serve you. You're not winning by, hanging around and letting somebody mistreat you, right? Like it's causing inflammation literally to your body, right? And so I don't know. I just want us to realize that and think about it. And so when people criticize Venus and Serena for who they've married, I'm like, oh my goodness. Serena's husband, we know how he gets down for his wife and his kids. Okay, we already seen him because he don't play, right? He'll be up on, TV, streaming. He don't care. Representing with a capital R, right? We don't know. I don't know anything about Venus's husband per se. Um, but I'm just saying, like, people be focused on the wrong thing. You want somebody who is going to love you and treat you well, period. You're going to want someone like, no matter what my dreams were, I could take them to my husband and he would make me feel that they were possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you want. You want somebody who, when you make a mistake, they're going to help you grow through that mistake, right? You don't want somebody who's going to be critical of you all the time. You know what I'm saying? You don't want somebody that, you're beating yourself up because of something that you've done. And here comes your partner who's, beating you over the head with something else. You feel me? You don't want that. You know what I'm saying? We need love and we need some kindness, right? To get through life. And it's like a lot of us, we just simply accept a lot of nonsense. And I'm just not one of those people. If you come in, y'all follow the breakdown, y'all gonna know I'm not playing that. Michael says, and my husband's name was Michael says the best kind of relationship has always been mutual. Um, I agree with that. I agree with that. And sometimes you have to teach people how to love you. I think that's true. We have to teach people how to treat us, right? But like sometimes, you might be in a relationship and it might start 40-60 or 30-70, but you work to get each other to meet in the middle, right? Like relationships are a lot of work. Like a healthy relationship is a lot of work. That's a fact. A healthy relationship is a lot of work, right? But we can do that. But this idea that I'm just going to stay in a bad relationship just so that I can say that I'm in a relationship. And I remember, you guys, I told you, me and my husband, we went to therapy. We did all sorts of things because, again, you can get to a point in a relationship where you don't feel you can move forward. You know what I'm saying? And so don't be afraid to go to therapy. Don't be afraid to go to therapy for yourself or a relationship, you know? But I think that, men and women, they should go where they're loved. And I know a lot of people, disagree with that and feel like, oh, you only got to date this person. You only going to date that person. I don't believe that. I believe that you have to go where you're loved and where you're appreciated. And I think, both men and women, you should feel desired in your relationship. You should feel wanted in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? You should feel like your partner is crazy about you. You know what I'm saying? I remember with my husband, he could walk in the room and I would just be excited that he was in the room. This is, 23 years of marriage, and he would just excite me walking in the room, right? That's what your relationship is supposed to feel like, right? You know what I'm saying? And it's like people accept these folks cheating and all this other kind of stuff. Listen, I can't define, what you want for your relationship. But what I'm saying is that you should define it for you. If you're okay sharing your partner with 5 people and then they end up having kids or whatever, then you're fine with it because you've already said you're fine with it. Know what you want. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why for me with Venus, I'm so proud of her. She was what? I think 45. She was 45 when she got married for the first time. I'm thankful for that for her. I'm happy for her. You know, at the end of the day, she seems happy. I'm a widow, Axel Foley. I was married for 23 years before my husband passed away. But this is one of my wedding rings right here. He bought me one to match all my jewelry. So I have like 5 of them. This one, a gold one, platinum and gold, whatever. So yeah, so that's why I share or whatever, Axel Foley, about marriage, because I think that it's a beautiful, I think it's beautiful. I think it can work, you know, really well for you. I do think it's a lot of work. I do think it's a lot of work. And I say for the lazy people, don't even don't even go there. You know, Axel Foley, thank you for that question. I got a question over here on YouTube. I appreciate that. Axel Foley asked, do I plan on remarrying? That's a tough question, Axel Foley. I would probably say no, because of how much work it is. I just said how much work it is. And after working so hard for 23, almost 24 years, and we were together for 27 years, I don't know if I want to work that hard, Axel Foley. I hope I don't turn you guys off by saying that. I'm just, y'all know, y'all ask me something, I'm going to tell you the truth. Marriage is a lot of work. Marriage is a lot of work. So I don't personally see myself remarrying, right? Now, would I consider, you know, dating? I have dated, you know, since my husband passed away. You know, would I consider that? Going on trips, going to the movies, you know, that kind of stuff. All of those things I feel are on the table. But, you know, the marriage thing is really hard for me personally. And then I also, my husband and I, we built so much stuff together, and like you'll meet people, right? And no shade to nobody, no shade, Axel, no shade, right? But like people don't understand, like a relationship is a partnership, right? And so let's make money together, let's build, you know, we're gonna build a house, let's make our lives easier. And so many people come from a place of trauma that when they meet somebody who wants to elevate them, right? Like they fighting about it, right? And so when I meet people and I talk to, you know, guys or whatever like that, like a lot of people don't realize that, like, I would look at my husband and I'll be like, hey, how can I help you? How can I make your day better today? Like, what do you need from me? And some people are like, oh God, why would you be like that? But they not realizing he's doing the same thing for me. You feel what I'm saying, guys? Like, that's what your partnership is about. You and your partner making your lives better for each other. So like, you know, he's tired on something. I'm like, hey, let me get that for you. I'll, you know, something's going on with the kids. Let me take care of that. I'll do that. You don't worry about that. I got you. You know what I'm saying? And you don't got to be sick. I'm just going to have your back. But when I see the comments and the DMs and different people talking to me, there's so much arguing. There's so much arguing. We're fighting. And it doesn't even feel like, if I'm gonna be honest. And Michael over here on Facebook said, my husband is watching me today. I don't have on. I had his chain on yesterday. Yeah, thank you. I think so. We got to get on the same page. We've become adversaries. Some kind of way, we have become adversaries where we're against each other. And I'm like, why are we against each other? Why are we not on the same side? Right? And so whether I'm working with, you know, my husband, you know, or I'm working with my kids, or even, you know, my colleagues and stuff, my clients or whatever, I'm like, I'm not fighting with y'all. We on the same team, right? But again, people's history and their trauma, it comes in there and they want to fight everybody in fisticuffs. How are we going to grow if we fighting the whole time? That's what somebody has to get me to understand. If we can't come together, how are we going to get anything accomplished? And so if you guys are out there in your relationships, I truly wish you the best. And don't listen to what I'm saying in terms of me, feeling like I wouldn't get married again. I had a 23, almost 24-year long marriage. So don't cry for me, Argentina. Um, I'm just saying, I know how much is involved. And when I meet people who've been divorced and things like that, the pain that they carry is enormous. It's enormous, you guys. And I don't want to carry their pain, and I'm going to tell them to go to the therapist, and they're going to be sick of me. They're going to be sick of me because when your marriage fails, sometimes a lot of times people carry the weight of that perceived failure with them when they may have done all they could do, and they shouldn't be carrying this weight, right? They shouldn't be carrying this weight, and yet they are, right? And so Michael over on Facebook is saying this is importance of fellowship, partnership, protection, and distribution. Absolutely, absolutely. The quiet one over at YouTube says, let me upgrade you. The quiet one says, I don't want that all my life. I've had to fight love in a relationship. Absolutely. And I just think that, like, we're looking for people to stop the hurt, but really we can only stop the hurt, right? Like, nobody can really stop your hurt for you, right? Like, you really have to do the work. I'm in therapy. I have therapy tomorrow. I've been in therapy now. Once my husband passed away, I've been in therapy basically ever since. I have been in therapy off and on before, but I wanted to just heal the grief part of my life. I wanted to heal as a parent. I just had so much work that I wanted to do. And so I've been in therapy really for, like, well, he's been gone now 7 years. But I've been in therapy seriously for like 4 years, every other week for about 4 years. And that's why I can come and talk to you guys about anything, and it feels, excuse me, it feels very therapeutic. It doesn't feel like, crazy or anything. But guys, please come and subscribe to the Yasmin Breakdown show. We're going to be coming on. I think I'm going to come on. I'm going to commit to 8 o'clock, quiet one. And we're just going to come on and we're going to talk about the stories of the day. Today, you guys, we talked about the Shilo Sanders $11 million judgment. Was that a money grab or what? We talked about that. We talked about Jarrell Miller. I'm going to try to get him as an interview guest on my show. Mad Skillz, my friend from Virginia who won a Grammy. We talked about Cam Newton, and we got some questions in from the audience. And Axel Foley, am I ready to mingle? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I meet people all the time. You know what I mean? But I'm somewhat guarded, probably, as a person. Like, I'm so, like, I can talk to people and this and this and that, but then in real life, I'm like, no, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone. So I don't know. I don't know. I think that we have to be, as Michael says over on Facebook, I believe that we have to protect our peace. I believe we have to protect our spirit. I believe that people who get to take up space with you should honor that relationship with you. They should honor that relationship with you, right? So, I mean, like, nobody knows how long that they're going to be here. Nobody knows this type of stuff. So if I'm going to give you my time and you're not going to appreciate it, I'm out. Like, I'm out. You feel me? And so I think that I want to draw the right people into my life. But I'm not going to, you're just saying Walmart. Everybody just saying welcome. No shade to Walmart, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, I want to have an exclusive experience. And I feel like that's just who I am as a person, because people will literally waste your time. So, all right, y'all, let's see if we can come back tomorrow around 8 or 8:15. I feel like I have a meeting tomorrow. Maybe it's on Thursday, but we'll see. But we're going to come on. And if you've enjoyed this conversation, come back to the Yasmin Breakdown. Again, we're 18,000 followers on Facebook. We have, man, I think I'm at 26,000 on Instagram, 25,000 on TikTok, I think, and 4,000 over on YouTube. So please, thank you so much. And Quiet One, thank you for popping on, because I didn't even know if you was going to pop on, girl. I wasn't going to bother you. I was like, we're going to just go ahead and do what we do. And so thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate you for coming today. I appreciate it so much. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. All right, you guys, that was episode 1 of, yes, this was episode 1 of the Yasmin Breakdown Live. I'm so proud of myself because, guys, I've been talking about coming on and doing these breakdown lives with you all. And today I said it's February 3rd. We're going to go ahead and swallow the frog, which means we're going to do it. But I'm going to see if I can pop out a couple of breakdowns for you real fast, although nothing is real fast. But I think I'm going to try to do that United Healthcare one for you real fast so you can have that and we can talk about that. We'll figure out the workflow on this. But thank you again so much. It means a lot for you guys, the people who've come, Axel with your questions, Quiet One, your support as well. And I would just love your questions and us to engage. So we're going to get started, but this is what we're going to be doing. So peace. See you next time.